What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the Early Edge. I'm your host, Allan Bell. We've got a fantastic Saturday show lined up for you today. And you know what? This Saturday, we're not doing it from a vehicle. We are inside a structure, and we are excited to be doing that. Now, before we get into our picks, let's take a look at how we did on Friday. Yeah, it was all over the board here. We kind of came out even. Now, real quick, first, shout out to Sia. Great day. Check, your bet slips in regards to the Braves playing 5. I know some books let it go. Some books might void it. So pay attention to that one. But they won in 5. Good call on Grillo over Hubbard as well. PropStarz nailing it with De'Aaron Fox. Buckets coming through with the both teams to score. Baseball was brutal yesterday, man. Snyder, he went through it. I went through it with the Phillies and Astros last night. I thought we had a chance late. But you know what? Such is betting. All right, let's bring in the stars of the show here. Let's get this thing fired up, because we got a good Saturday here. You know what? We're running, look, a little 3-man weave here. First off, my man, Amags. How we doing, buddy?
Well, I'm doing good. I got myself on mute there. I'm doing good, man. It's a gorgeous Saturday here in New York with pouring rain and clouds, and wishing that we had Micah's background today.
Dude, no kidding on that one, man. Like, no kidding on that one. And I'm gonna ask you about that weather, because I've got to play on the Atlanta Braves, and I feel great about it, but also the weather is something. So we're gonna talk about that here in just a second. PropStarz, my man. First off, dude, looking like Vince McMahon Jr. there with that mustache, looking great. Second, dude, the Eagles, every time I see them in the draft, like all weekend, they're just crushing it. So you got to be happy about that.
Making moves, AB. I'm fired up. It feels good to be an Eagles fan right now. By the way, good morning. Amags is my boy. I'm really excited about doing this show with you two gentlemen. I also miss Micah's background. Totally kind of has those Saturday chill vibes, but it's all good. We're about to break it down.
Yeah, we are definitely, man. So let's just jump right into it here. Mags, I'm going to throw it over to you first, man. You got a couple baseball plays today, specifically one team that I love to death today in regards to their matchup against said pitcher. But you know what? I'm going to get out of your way, buddy. Let it rip. What you got?
Yeah, so a couple of things that we want to look at in this. In the Reds and Athletics game. This Reds team kind of rolling right now. They've actually, I've got them a couple different ways here, but the first one I'll talk about, just because it's a little more overarching, is the team total. Over 4.5 on DraftKings plus 100 right now. You could go to FanDuel and play over 4 at minus 130. I would just rather give the book the push. And, I'm making the bet because I think they can get to 5 runs regardless of whether I take 4 or 4.5. So I'd rather just go for the win at plus money there. So over 4 runs, over 4.5 runs, I should say. In what I have here, I think it was 4 of 4. Yeah, 4 of their last 4 games here over 4.5 runs. They're rolling, and so I'm going to take them to continue that against Kyle Muller, one of the worst pitchers on this slate here today. As well, you look at what the A's are doing here with their pitching. I don't really know what they're doing, but they used Fujinami yesterday in a relief role. They're mixing up their pitchers a little bit, so their bullpen is a bit out of whack. I'm not 100% sure who they roll out of that bullpen today. I'd love to see a guy, like Aller or even Fujinami again. But with this offense, the lineup's been clicking. Like I said, they've been scoring runs. So I'm going to take that plus money there on the over on the team total, and then just toss in Nick Senzel over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. I think I had that at plus 100 as well there. But for me, just if I want to target one guy in the lineup, he's a little bit lower than I want to have a guy if I'm targeting. But Senzel, just against lefties, against the certain pitches that Muller is going to throw him here today, slider, curveball. I think that Senzel is the guy that I want to go with on the hits, runs, and RBIs. Stevenson is a guy I would like to go with on the over total basis. So if you want to throw him in there, it was plus 155 for over 1.5 total basis for him. Some nice righties you could target versus Kyle Muller here. And I know you had already said it, but I think that the Reds are going to keep it rolling here today. So give me those two there. And then do you want me to jump into my other one, or do you want to wait to talk about Gosselin?
No, let it rip. Yeah, let it rip.
All right. So this Blue Jays game, another one, pretty interesting. We've got Seattle in town. Seattle hasn't really looked great. When you look at Kevin Gausman, he's been over 6.5 strikeouts here in 4 of 5 starts this season. And I like him, especially with that splitter. Once again, against this Seattle lineup here. One of the worst teams actually over the last 2-3 weeks for strikeouts against right-handed pitching, and just struggled with that splitter. A lot of them have relative unfamiliarity with that pitch this year. Just haven't seen it a ton. And I like Gausman at home off of that. It was a close game yesterday. I believe they won, but it was pretty close. Yeah, it was 3-2. They won. And, their bullpen actually had to be used a bit more than they would probably want. But we still did see Manoah go to 7 strikeouts in 5 innings. I think we see Gausman get there today, too.
Yeah, I'm fascinated with Major League Baseball. Like the slate yesterday, obviously, weather had a ton to do across the entire slate. And first off, on the Reds, me and you were talking. We were talking off air before we came on. Dude, the Reds are quietly one of the most disciplined baseball teams in Major League Baseball. Like they'll grind out walks. They have a great percentage in terms of on base and getting runners around. The whole roster. We've said it on this show for a couple weeks now. Like the Reds are almost an auto bet when they're facing a left-handed pitcher. This whole roster is built to mash lefties, and especially against Muller today. Now, looking across the board, Mags, like what else do you see across Major League Baseball? Like, were there any games, any plays that you kind of almost went with, you might go with later? Like, what are your thoughts here just across the board?
Yeah. One real quick thing I wanted to at least mention it. I got that Gausman play -133 at Caesars. So it's a little bit better there at Caesars than anywhere else. Some of them have it at 7.5, but I would get it at Caesars -133 if you still can. And this was only maybe 20 minutes ago. I even was messaging with someone on Twitter about that pick, and they had asked where the best odds were. So make sure you can get that one at Caesars. And the weather, that, like you said, so a couple of spots that I would want to either look at or stay away from. One of them is going to be that Braves game. I think it's, there's another chance at an issue here with either delay, a shortened game. Once again, they probably don't want to do that. They would probably rather cancel instead of shorten it again. But I could see some issues there. So I didn't go to that one. 2 plays I did release on my Twitter already, though. We had a good night last night, went 3-0. But 2 plays, I have Evaldi over 5.5 strikeouts. I already put that out. Nate Evaldi today for Texas, I think, against the Yankees. Probably not going to see Judge once again today. I think he can easily get over that 5.5. And then lastly, what was the other? Oh, it was Christian Javier. Just put that one out over 6.5, like him against the Phillies. He grabbed 9 against the Phillies last year, if you guys remember, in the postseason. So at home off a tough loss last night for Houston, if you even wanted to parlay that with the money line, I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah, it's a strong play. And look, like I said, I was on the Phillies Astros over 7.5 last night. And quite frankly, I mean, the Phillies did everything that we needed them to do. Like I put on the rundown, like if we get them to 3, I feel good about it. I thought Houston's bats would just really perform so much better against Nola. Shout out to him, man. I mean, Houston they could not get anything.
Pitched well, man. Pitched really well last night.
It absolutely did. And it's not like Valdez didn't, you know what I mean? But yeah, like that one was tough. At some point, Houston's bats are going to come alive. Now, all right. I'll get to mine in a minute. Actually, I'm going to do it in 1 second. PropStarz, first off, we're talking about just games and different things right here. Now, I've got a question for you, and I understand that this is not specifically your area of expertise. I just want to have some fun. You ready?
Ready.
All right. So, our boy, Trent Wade, all right, sends in NASCAR picks every week. All right. Usually we discuss with Micah. Today, I'm discussing with you. You ready for this? Because that's the most Marlboro NASCAR mustache I've ever seen in my life. So I'm going to read you 3. I'm going to read you 4. You tell me your favorite one. You ready?
Okay.
All right. Kyle Larson over William Byron at -148. Chris Buescher over Chase Briscoe -112. And Ross Chastain top 10 -150.
Let's go Ross Chastain, top 10 -150. I'm a big Jessica Chastain fan.
There we go. All right, I'm gonna give my picks real quick, and then PropStarz, I'll let you be in the maestro spot today. I'm gonna leave it up on here because Mags, I want your thoughts here. Only 2 plays for me, really. First off, I'm gonna go to that Braves game, and for everything that you were saying, all right. So I'm gonna play the Braves team total over 4.5 at +100. Yes, weather obviously could be an issue. Saw it last night. They only got to 5. What you said, I really do think that they try to get this thing in if they can. I think that we're going to get pockets of I'm banking on that we actually get it cleared up a little bit, right? Like I think that they're gonna get through this thing unless it's just an absolute downpour. But I unbelievably love the Braves hitting matchup against the Mets pitching matchup today, if that makes sense. Like if they could get through this game, the Braves could put up double-digit runs, honestly, right? So I like them there. I'm going to take my shot. If it gets voided, it gets voided. But if they play 9, like the Braves are going to mash today. And then number 2, going to go to college baseball here. So we're going to ride a 2-leg money line parlay, Florida and South Carolina. Florida mashed yesterday, as they do at home against Missouri. They won 11-1. South Carolina, one of the best teams in the country, lost last night at home to Auburn. Yeah, I'm riding South Carolina on the bounce back. They're way too good to mess around with a team like Auburn there. Florida should handle their business. And if you haven't watched college baseball, specifically South Carolina, get to know a dude named Ethan Petrie, because he's going to play in Major League Baseball. This guy hits a home run maybe every other at bat, and they're not just like 306. It just got over the fence there. Like this dude puts him in other counties. He's unbelievably fun to watch. So keep an eye on him. He's only, I think he's he's a freshman, right? And he's won SEC Freshman of the Week every single week this season. Like this guy's unfreaking believable. So pay attention to that. But enough of me yapping on that. We're going to take those two, Florida and South Carolina. All right. Props. Coming to you, dude. Got NBA, man. Kind of a big one here. I'm going to get out of your way. What you got, bro?
Yeah, I'm fired up for this series. Phoenix facing Denver. Phoenix is actually a favorite currently to win this series against the number 1 seeded Nuggets. Can't wait for this game, the only game on the slate. But we are going Kevin Durant to have over 34.5 combined points and rebounds. Kind of speaks to the brilliance of KD, that he had somewhat of a quiet series in the opening round against the Clippers, but he still averaged close to 28 points a game, 7 rebounds per game. That's because he took somewhat of a back seat to Devin Booker, who averaged 37 points per game in the series while taking 23 shots per game compared to KD, who took 17 shots per game. You have to go all the way back to the 2016-2017 season to find when Kevin Durant last took under or averaged fewer than 17 shots per game in a series. Typically, he's around the 20 to 22 mark, which I fully anticipate him being in this series against Denver. I also think Denver is very good defensively to the point where Devin Booker is not going to be able to get off a lot of those shots and looks that he was getting against the Clippers defense. So I really anticipate Kevin Durant, the offense flowing through him a lot more in this series starting today. I like the combination line here for a wide array of reasons. He's on the floor for nearly 45 minutes a night. Doesn't rest really in the second half, plays the entire second half. With that sort of minutes that he's logging, he's got a really good chance to grab more than 10 rebounds. Furthermore, if DeAndre Ayton gets into foul trouble, which there's a very strong chance of happening considering he's going to be tasked with guarding Nikola Jokic, Kevin Durant could very well be the Suns' best rebounder and have a lot of extra rebounding responsibilities if Ayton is off the floor. That's why I like the combination line here. I expect him to get up at least 20 shots in this game today, have a big all-around game. This is a discounted line to what it should be, in my opinion, probably what you'll see in game 2, 3, and 4 in this series. This number is usually closer to 36, 37.5. So going to jump on this now. It's a great spot. I expect a big game from KD, 30-plus points. So let's go over 34.5 combined points and rebounds.
Dude, all right, so let's go rapid fire real quick. All right, so the spread, the Nuggets -3, total of 227. All right, pick one of them. Spread either way or total either way. Props, what do you think? And it's just for fun. We're not like...
Yeah, no, it's tough. Being in Denver, the Nuggets were a really good home team, but I think the Suns are going to catch Denver a little bit asleep behind the wheel. Even though they did take care of business against the Timberwolves in somewhat convincing fashion, winning 4-1, I really think this Suns team is clicking at the right time. Obviously, when you add Kevin Durant, you've got Booker healthy, you've got Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton. That's just so much firepower for this Phoenix team. I really think they're the rightful favorites. It makes sense to me that they are favored over the number 1 seed and the 2-time reigning MVP. So wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if the Suns stole game 1 in Denver tonight. So I like that spot for them.
There you go. Mags, any thoughts, man?
Not on basketball. Really just much more of a casual watch for me if I do watch anything. Yeah. But a couple of things I did want to say, just address that I saw in the chat that were kind of directed towards me here. One of them, if you guys got my pick that was on the website, I put it out last night. In the Pittsburgh Washington games, it was rained out last night. So now, you see them today. They shuffled their pitchers around a little bit. Just check that pick again. I put an update in the same pick there. So they just gave a little bit of guidance as to what I would do today on that. And there was one more here. So we asked about the Mexico game. So yeah, there's a game in Mexico. I already tweeted out about it yesterday when that line dropped at 15 on the over-under.
15.
It's the highest over-under you'll see this year, probably, unless there's another game here, that rivals Mexico. And I'm talking about like after this series type thing. But like Coors Field doesn't really compare to Mexico in terms of altitude. Like this Mexico City Stadium is, far higher. But with that being said, I just think 15 is still probably too high of a number. I'll take the under 15 every single time you'll give it to me in an MLB game. I don't care if it's, unless it's maybe played on the moon. So, no gravity, then maybe I would take the over 15, but I would just run with the under 15 just because. But if you wanted a couple looks, if you do think it's going to go over, you want a couple home run looks. Saw a couple people in the chat here talk about Tatis. When you're looking at which side I would go to, it probably would be the Padres. Just I think Musgrove is a better pitcher than Manaea. Manaea has been much worse to right-handed batters. So if you wanted to, then I would take like a Tatis or a Machado or a Xander Bogaerts. I don't off the top of my head know what the odds are on those, but Tatis is probably always a good bet there. And
I'll tell you what, let me do you one favor. All right, first off, all right, everybody, let me get the recap up real quick, and then I'm going to show you guys something, exactly what you're talking about in regards to that question. So everybody grab your paper, grab your pencil, take a look at the recap here. Amags on. My man, Nick Senzel, Tennessee boy, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, plus 100. Reds team total over 4.5, plus 100. Kevin Gausman over 6.5 strikeouts. PropStarz Kevin Durant over 34.5 points and rebounds. I'm on the Braves team total over 4.5 at plus 100. Taking a shot there if we can get through it without the game being delayed, postponed, and bets voided. Also, college baseball money line 2-leg parlay plus 110, Florida and South Carolina. Okay, so what you're just talking about. You know what? Let me give everybody a little bit of a present real quick. How's that sound? Hang tight.
We got.
Yeah, hang tight. Let me find this here. See if this will pull up.
Yeah, it would be one of those righties there. I saw someone said Bogaerts. Yeah, it would be one of the righties in that lineup.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if I can get this pulled in full. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the simulations from SportsLine of the top players today and tomorrow to hit a home run, stolen bases, starting pitchers, strikeouts. All right, let me get it full screen. Normally don't put this up here, but you know what? It's Saturday, and everybody who rolled with us today, you know what? Here's a little present for you. All right, so home runs. We got Brian Reynolds, CJ, Trout, Olsen, Ohtani. All right, stolen bases, Chisholm, Acuna, Witt, Corbin Carroll, and Mateo. And then starters, Spencer Strider, Hunter Green, Corbin Burns, Zach Wheeler. And look, your boy has been right there. And then tomorrow you can see it. I won't read through them, but yeah. So I'll leave this here on the screen here. We'll just talk real quick. All right, what are your thoughts here, Mags? Anything that you see, anything that sticks out to you?
I hope Gausman gets the other 0.34 of that strikeout there, so we cash the bet. That's the first thing. I think that these actually look pretty good. A couple of things. So Strider, I wouldn't bet his strikeout total just because of the weather. I love him, obviously outside of the weather, but just wouldn't want to put my money down on the line there. Hunter Green hasn't been, excelling this year with his strikeouts, but I do think against the A's, he has a nice little look there. I didn't bet it because I think it was at 7.5. If you had got it at 6.5, I probably would have taken a shot. And then, I mean, some of these other ones, home runs, and, I probably like Trout and Ohtani will be up there on home run projections almost every day just because of who they are, right?
Yep.
But some of these other guys, like Brian Reynolds, just got back off I think it was a bereavement. He took a few days off on bereavement, but that's a guy that I always just like to go over his like hit run RBI, like get on base type thing. He's an awesome player. So I don't hate that as well.
Yeah. Nice. And I see some questions in the chat here. Michael Bond, my man Mike, says, where do you find this on SportsLine? These are just the simulations, right? I've just modeled it together to bring the top 5 on these 3 so that you see.
This is good stuff, AB.
Dude, yeah, like I'm telling you, man, it saves me a ton of time. It saves me a ton of time. And look, I'll give some more secrets here. That's why, like, you're gonna start to see this, and I'm like, me and Snake are working this in regards to home run props. We're gonna start working in more strikeout props, things like that. So, like you guys will see this. You won't see it like exactly in this model look every single time, but we're gonna start working in these props so that everyone can have the best, opportunities for home runs, for stolen bases, strikeouts, man, like things like that. So, like Mike, my dude, great question, and wanted to make sure everybody knew like this is on the site. It's just compiled of the top 5. So, for sure, man. All right.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude, for sure, man. All right, everybody, I think that's all the damage we can do today, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I know it's Saturday. It's only this 3. So it's not the biggest show in the world, but like I said, man, the earliest chat, the crew, dude, like I look at watch other, like, sports betting shows, whatever, like, dude, our crew smashes on everybody else's. Like, it's just, dude. It's awesome, man. So, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be live Sunday normal time, 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, breaking down with a full slate and a full crew of everybody to get you more games, bets, etc. But until then, best of luck. Cash these tickets. Have a heck of a Saturday. We appreciate all of you, man. Thanks for being in the family with us. You know what? We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.
Good luck.